So this is a boxwood. It is a, it's saying that it's a green beauty boxwood. That's the common name for it. Let's see if I can find the botanical name on here. Sometimes they do that, sometimes they don't. I looked up the name because it doesn't show it on the tag. So it is Buxus, or Buxus, Buxus, Buxus microphyllavar japonica. I have been watering it and taking care of it. I'm going to just take this off so it's out of the way. And this part looks like it's doing pretty good. It's the leaves are nice and dark green, and the end leaves are still a lighter color, so they haven't hardened off yet. So that means that this has had some new growth right in this section. So that's definitely a good sign, encouraging. Boxwoods are one of those type of trees that they take really long to grow. They grow super slow. So anything that you do to it, you want to make sure that you're not doing it just to think, oh, this will just grow back. It will. They grow. It's alive. But when you take off a section and you leave a bald spot, that bald spot's going to be there for a long time. So you don't want to just chop and hack one of these guys. Some trees you can do that. They recover really fast. These don't. I know that for sure. I watched a video from one of the YouTubers that I watch, Bonsai Mirai, and he was demonstrating a different species of boxwood, and he said that a lot of the boxwoods are pretty similar. I mean, they all have their own nuances, but they're all pretty similar in the fact that they all grow really slow, and you want to be careful when you're cutting them back to not overdo it so that it doesn't leave a bald spot. But anyway, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop off this dead piece. I can't stop looking at it. It's really bothering me. So I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to cut it off at the ground level here. It's a pretty good sized trunk, and you can tell it's growing next to another trunk, so it's nice and flat, which we don't really like that in bonsai. So now I've got a flat edge right here that you can see. I'm going to change the camera angle. Alright, so you can see that it's got this flat edge right here. We've got some back budding that is in this section. So these are all going to be left here. I'm not going to cut any of this off on this section because I want this to eventually fill out. And I'm not really going to chop this way back either because I want this to stay in kind of a roundish shape for now. I'm going to leave it in this pot for the duration of the winter. These are an evergreen, so it won't lose its leaves, and if they start losing their leaves, that's a very bad sign. So I'm going to leave it in this pot for the winter time, and then in the spring I will put it into a bonsai pot and some bonsai soil so that we can get the root structure to strengthen up also. But one thing that I am going to do is I am going to trim some of these branches back because I want to give it room to elongate some of the pieces that we want to elongate, and I want it to be in somewhat of a shape so that it can have some space and air inside there. So going to cut back all the stuff that is facing straight down. I'm going to cut that off because I don't want any of the branches growing straight down. The stuff that's growing straight up, I'm going to look at it before I cut it off because I don't want to eliminate chunks out of the tree. So sometimes these guys will grow straight up and they'll fill in spaces. You cut that off and then you've got this space in the tree that you don't want a big old space, because like this this branch right here, it's growing not straight up, but it's growing on near the top of the branch. So that would take that whole space out, and then it would be bare right there. Maybe it looks good, maybe it doesn't. That's why I'm going to look at it before I cut stuff off. Also, like the ficus trees that I work on a lot, these grow a branch out of where the leaf is growing. So it's got a big leaf and then a branch. So those big leaves at the end of the branches, I'm going to take those off also while I'm cleaning this up. And that will give more nutrients to the branches so that they'll elongate and grow. Alright, so some of these little tiny branches that are on the base of the tree, I'm cutting these out. Because I do want to get to some kind of branch structure to where it has the main branches that I want to keep on the tree, and get rid of the little branches that are taking up space in that composition that I don't need. So like this little guy right here, taking this off. And I'm also not 100% sure how easy these are to wire. They look like they're pretty flexible, but a lot of some of the trees, their bark is very thin, and I think the boxwoods are one of those that the bark is pretty thin. So you got to be really careful putting a wire on it if you're going to wire them out. On this, wouldn't be a bad idea to wire this, because I could take this branch, and if I can get it without breaking off some smaller branches, I could bend it over here, and then you've got more structure over here. So I think I might do that. Go through and bend some branches. Got a branch right in the middle of everything. It looks like it's this branch right here. I'm going to take that off. If I can get to it. Yep, that was the wrong branch. That could be really bad. Okay, I got the right one. But I did cut this one just a little bit. I'm gonna leave it. If it dies, it dies. If it doesn't, then sweet. But I mean, if that one dies, that's this whole piece. Bring this down a little bit so you can see. That's this piece is the one that I cut. I don't know, maybe I'll just take that out. I might just take that out. Alright, there it goes. I'm going to try and grow this from a cutting. Alright, so that totally changes the whole tree. I've taken that out. Doesn't look terrible. Can work with this, because that'll leave more space right here, and I'll take this down a little bit over here too. I'm gonna just take that whole branch out, I think. No, I'm not. I'm gonna cut it up here. There we go, because that leaves a little bit down here. This guy, it's going at a crazy angle. I'm going to save quite a few of these cuttings. So some of the little stuff, like the little leaf cleanup stuff, I might just cut out of the video, because it could get very boring. It seems like these leaves pull off pretty easily. So you don't necessarily have to cut them all off. Having all the leaves that are attached just to the branches, like these, get that one first. Like these ones, let me show you. So you got a lot of leaves. Like this is the leaves that I'm talking about at the base of the branch. This one here, you take this one off, and that one goes away. But then you've got a bunch of leaves. I'm trying to get camera angle here. Like right here, these leaves, they don't have any branches growing out of them, and they're just a whole bunch of leaves growing up the branches. You got a whole bunch of them like right here. It's just leaves growing up the base of the branch. So those leaves don't really contribute to the tree, and if they're on the interior, they're really not contributing a whole lot to the photosynthesis either of the tree. So if you take those off, it reallocates energy to the rest of the tree, and it also makes the tree look older because it doesn't have a whole bunch of branch or leaves growing up the branches. It's having a bare branch makes the tree look older. So I'm going to go through and take off a lot of those leaves also. The ones on the new branches I'm going to leave because I want the new branches to gain strength. But the ones on the main or the secondary branches, I'm going to take those off. So the tertiary branches, I'll leave all the leaves. The secondary branches, I'll take those off, the smaller leaves off. Alright, so coming to the end of this branch, I've got a bunch of branches at the end. So I've got, let me see, I've got a tiny little one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 branches right here at the very end of the tree, or the branch. So I need to take some of those off because I don't want a giant ball at the end of this branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because this is one that I'm going to bend, so I'm going to bend it over kind of to where I look where I want it, and then I'm going to decide which branches need to come off. So I'm going to take the ones that are on the top, those are going to come off. I don't want to take all the branches that are growing upwards because you want the tree to look like it's, you know, growing up like a tree does grow. But I kind of want the branches to grow out right now. So the ones that are growing up, I'm going to take these off at the end. Not all of them, just the ones at the end. So that one and that one. So now it looks like that. And then I'm going to take these back. Kind of like that. And these, they alternate direction. The leaves, they alternate direction as they're going up the branch. Show you a close up here. So you can see they alternate going up the branch. They grow, let's see if I can get a better, there we go. So they go, 2 go up, 2 go down, or 2 go up and down, and 2 go side to side, and then up and down, side to side. So in a case of a tree that does that, you can use the pruning process as directions to the branches. So if I want the branches to grow out, I cut it back to 2 leaves that are going outwards, and that will be where the branches come out to continue the branch. So if I want them to grow up and down, then you cut it to where it's going up and down, and then you can later on take the one off that's going down if that's what you want to do, or leave it. So this is going to be right here. So that looks pretty good. So then I'm going to go up to the next branch here. And this branch I will probably put right in this section right here, kind of like that. So I'm going to trim this up. This side of the tree is really bushy because it wasn't blocked by that other branch. I want to get into the interior of this stuff and clean out all these leaves. So I've seen a lot of these trees with the umbrella style, which looks pretty cool because you got like all the branches going up and then the canopy just like draping over it. It's one I saw, he had the whole canopy, everything was like kind of laid down, looked like, and it just looked like a bowl sitting on the top of the tree. It's kind of cool. He opened it up a little bit, which made it look more like a tree, but I thought it looked pretty cool, looking like a bowl. I'm also looking inside here to make sure that I don't have 4 or 5 branches coming out of the same spot, and I don't want branches coming out at the base of a branch. Also, I want one branch coming out. I don't want 2 or 3 branches coming out. So anywhere that there's more than one branch, like right here, if you can see this, there's the branch, and then it's like right at the base of the branch. That I might use later. So I'm not going to cut that one off because this, I might want to shorten this back to that and let that, let this be another branch out here. This one growing straight up into the tree, I'm going to take those off though, because I want to open it up for light and space and air and all that. So when I was saying that you want to watch out for which branches you're going to be taking off, you want to make sure that you're watching, because this branch right here, I was going to take this off, but it goes out to here. So I take that off, and then this is gone. So if I want that gone, that's cool. But if I don't want that gone, then I gotta be mindful of what I'm taking off. So all this really small stuff down in here, I want to take these off. I found a new friend. Leaf removal on these is very tedious. And this is why we open up our trees, so that we can maintain the shape of the tree easier later on, because obviously it's going to keep growing, so you want to. So in the initial styling, you want to get the tree as good as you can get it with what you have when you're starting out, so that when you go back to working on it later, you're maintaining it rather than basically starting over if you didn't if you didn't clean up the stuff that you needed to clean up originally. And I did end up taking this branch off because it opened up this whole space right here, but it was growing right at the base of this branch, and I didn't want to cause inverse taper right here. Like I said before, the boxwoods grow really slow, so this is going to be a very long process. This is going to be one of those trees in 10 years I'm still developing it. So if you're looking for a tree to have a really nice bonsai right away, either pick a really good piece of material or pick something else. You're going to have patience with this. So I've got this small branch right here coming out of the trunk right here. It's this branch over here, which kind of contributes to the shape of the tree, but it's growing right behind this big branch. So I'm going to take this one out because there's a whole bunch of branches right here. So that was this branch here. It opened up this space too, which is kind of good. I do kind of want to open that space up a little bit more. Some of these branches I'm not going to have to move because they've got really good movement as it is. Just don't get into a rush, because that's when you start cutting off branches you don't want to cut off while you're cutting leaves off. And I've never done that before. I think I've done that in a video actually. Just taking off the leaves at the bases of the new branches really opens it up, gives it a lot more air movement through it. And trees like to breathe, so you always give them as much air as you can. Straight up right here. So that thins out this branch really nicely. Take out this material. Yeah, so that thins out that branch really nicely. And then I've got this branch here. It's got a bunch of branches on it here. This is all one branch. And I've got this one that's growing down at the bottom of the branch, way back in the interior, and I'm going to cut that one off because it's laying pretty much on top of this branch. So I'm going to cut that off. Just like that. So now that opens up all of this space right here. And then I'm taking off all the leaves that are growing straight down on all these branches. A lot of times I try to pick a branch and go one branch at a time, just go from the base of the branch all the way out when I'm taking off leaves or cleaning it up. For one, that keeps me from missing stuff, and it keeps me from jumping around the tree like I was earlier, so that I can stay focused. Alright, so this one I'm going to take off the ones that are going straight up right there, but I'm going to take this one off that's going straight down, and then I'm going to leave these two branches. Eventually they'll grow out, and then I can take one or the other off, whichever direction I want the tree to grow at that time. Or just leave them both, whichever works. Really see into the tree now, which is pretty awesome. You can see the main branch structure now of what we're looking at. I mean, it's a lot thicker over here than it is over here, of course, because that dead piece was right here. But you can actually see there's some branch structure over here still. So this will fill in eventually. But like I said, it's going to take a little time. So we'll see what it looks like on the next update video. Some of the longer branches, take off the tips to encourage back budding. I'm going to take off some of this previous trimmings where the previous owner trimmed back some stuff. Clean that up a little bit. It looks like somebody hedge pruned this at one point. Yeah, it definitely looks like somebody hedge pruned it. Which kind of sucks because this one looks like it was hedge pruned, and I don't know. I'm gonna leave those. Maybe those are new buds. That looks a little weird to me, but like I said, I don't know a whole lot about these yet, so we'll experiment. Find out what it looks like. Alright, so I got these ones. So I'm gonna finish up this top part of the canopy, and I'm gonna wire some of these branches out. I do want to take back some of these branches up here, and that'll encourage more growth lower down on the tree also. The top of your trees are always going to have more vigor than the base or the bottom of your tree. So if you want the bottom of your tree to have more vigor, take some away from the top. Kind of also pruning it for profile because I want it to have kind of a rounded shape to it. So all of this up here, I'm gonna keep these trimmed back and let some of the shorter or the lower ones grow out so that they can fill in the top part of the canopy here. Alright, so I'm gonna put some wire on this. I put some screws over here on the side of the bench so that I can hang my wire. It's been very helpful. Alright, so you're supposed to wire two branches together to for support, for each branch to have support. Don't always have two branches that you can wire together, but if you can find two to wire together, then definitely do that because it really does help. Want to wire this branch this way, so I want the wire to come under the branch. So I'm going to go behind the trunk here. So I'm going to wire this branch with this branch, and this branch is higher. So I'm going to wire it up to this branch without damaging these other branches here. Making sure to get it tight against the tree. The wire tight against the tree. And you want to have the same spacing and angle, and you don't want gaps in between the wire and the tree. But if there's branches in the way that you're trying to keep, then that kind of changes that. But try to keep the same spacing and angle. It just gives a better hold on the branch. When I take the wire off of this tree, I'm definitely going to use wire cutters. I'm not going to try and unwrap the wire like I do on some of the other stuff, because it'll definitely damage the bark. I'm going to try not to break off any of these branches. I'm going to change the spacing and the angle right here at the end of the branch, so I don't need as much holding power right here. Alright, and then I'm going to go back over here. Smashing a branch. Don't smash branches. They don't like it. I'm going to try to wrap this one out as far as I can, because I want to bend this around quite a bit. Alright, so I'm going to put this one out front here. And I want to make sure that I don't make it look unnatural with the bends. So make sure that the branch comes out of the trunk and then bends. This space. Alright, so it's going to go like that. And I think I broke this branch, so I'm just going to take it off. Alright, so I want to bring this branch kind of down into this space here. I'm going to use a little bit smaller wire on this, because this wire seems to be a little thick, and this tree, they bend pretty easy. So I'm going to try the small wire. This might be too small. I'm going to try it. Alright, so I got the wire on, so let's see if this is going to be enough to bend it. It looks like it is. These trees bend pretty easy. Pretty flexible. I don't need to bend this one a whole lot, just want to kind of move it up into this space here. Get this structure right here going. And then we'll kind of twist this one around a little bit. looking pretty good so far. I think these ones I'm going to leave like they are. I think I'm going to leave those ones like they are. This one I'm definitely going to leave. That's a nice thick branch and it looks pretty good as it is. I'm going to wire this one. I'm going to wire that one. I think. I don't know if I want to keep this branch. I don't want to keep that branch. I'm going to take it off. So I'm going to wire this branch. Totally missed this whole branch. It's okay. You can always go back and get it later. During the wiring process is when you find out what all you missed, really. Because you're definitely looking at every inch of the branch while you're wiring it. Alright, so I wired this. So I'm gonna bring this. I think I'm gonna bring this back down again because I think I adjusted it when I was wiring it. That definitely holds better. Put 2 pieces on it. So this branch, everything's going up and down. So I kind of want to turn it to flatten it out. Like that. So now everything's flat. I'm like all up in the camera, aren't I? That. Let's turn this one. There we go. Yep, definitely looks better. So then I want to bring this one kind of up and over this way a little bit. So I'm kind of bring it closer in here. And this way. Not so much. There we go. Alright, like that. That looks pretty good. So now it doesn't look so much like it was missing a whole space right here. And some of this stuff will backbud in here and grow out a little bit, so it'll fill in where it's missing currently. But I think that's a pretty good start. These look a little bit more a little shorter and more compact than these right now. But I'm going to let this grow out. And once this grows out, then I'll come back in and cut these back a little bit. I think. Actually, I'm going to cut a couple of these back right now. Just cut the tips off so that it'll encourage the back budding and all that. I'm just going to do that to all of these, actually. Change my mind. Change my mind. I always change my mind. It's okay to let the tree talk to you. It doesn't make you crazy. At least that's what I'm going to tell you. It's okay to talk to your plants. Alright. I'm going to go back and look it over again and make sure that I got everything out that I wanted to get out. I've got this one branch right here that's growing from the center of the tree. I think I'm gonna take this whole space off right here. Bring you in there. Alright, as you can see right here, this was the top of the tree. That's where I cut off some of this stuff, and this is the branch that I'm talking about. It's a little branch, and it's coming right off of this center here. Well, if you could see it past that branch. There we go. It's coming right off of the center of the tree right here, and the center of the tree goes up this way, and this is the apex of the tree. So alright, so I got you zoomed in a little bit too, which is awesome. I need to practice using the zoom and all that on my camera. So I'm gonna take this middle piece out. I'm gonna try not to unbend all the stuff that I just bent. But I'm gonna take the middle of the tree out right here. And then let this be the apex now. I'm gonna clean it up as best I can so that it can heal properly. Get my rusty knob cutters in there. These things, they weren't expensive, so yeah. When you're getting tools, make sure that you get quality tools. These are high carbon steel tools, which is good, but being in the greenhouse, they rust so easily, and I could clean them up every day and they still rust. So right now I'm just trying to make sure that this doesn't look like a big old knob in the middle of the tree, basically. Make it look like branches going from the trunk to a branch, instead of having just a knot in the middle of the tree. Because this should heal over relatively quickly. I think the bark heals pretty quick as far as I remember. Could be wrong, so don't quote me on that yet. I always encourage people to do their own research on stuff, even when somebody is telling them how to take care of stuff. I mean, especially because I don't have a whole lot of experience with boxwoods yet. I plan on learning a lot more, but this is a new tree that I got, and I wanted to get it started, because you want to fix the dead parts of the tree as soon as you can, so that it can get growing and get healthy. So if I'd have just left it like that and just kept watering it, and just thinking that it's going to fix itself, it's not. You have to fix it. So that's where I'm at with this, fixing the tree, getting the structure set so that it can improve from here. And as I'm improving it, I can still be learning about it and doing more research. I watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to grow bonsai trees also. Nobody ever knows everything, so I watch a lot of different people that have a lot more experience than I do, and then I put out the videos because I enjoy it. I enjoy working on the trees. I enjoy teaching people about my trees, so that's why I do my videos, so that I can help other people out too. So there's a lot of people that are doing bonsai videos. Some of them do, educational. Some of them do just entertainment. So I kind of want to do a little bit of both with my channel. So that's what I've been trying to do. So this branch is like hanging way down, and I kind of want it to go out. So I'm going to twist this branch a little bit here, right there, to get that to go back out. And I'm going to bend this back kind of to where I had it. There we go. So now they're going out more. Here we go. This one's just in a sweeping motion. I don't like that. I want it to have more of a bend in it, I guess, rather than just a sweeping motion. There we go. Yeah, more like that. All right. That's pretty good. There we go. Because I did that because I want these branches to grow out here, and then this to grow up some more. This just gives it more depth on that. And boxwoods are one of the type of trees that when you cut the bigger leaves off and it ramifies more, the leaves actually do reduce in size. Even though they are relatively small leaves as it is, they will reduce a little bit more as you get more ramification. They'll reduce in size again. So, all right, so this does look pretty good for being a discounted tree that was more than likely going to die at the garden center. Like I said, the other one did. I went back to get the other one, and it was all brown. So I'm just glad I could save this one. All right, so that's gonna do it for this video. That's gonna do it for this tree for now. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it in this spot until spring. I'm gonna make sure that it stays watered like it should. I'm not gonna overwater it because obviously it's going into winter time. Well, maybe it's not obvious. It's going into wintertime. So, so I'm going to make sure it stays watered properly, not too much, not too little, and just let it grow for the winter, because they do slow down during the wintertime on their growth. So we'll just keep an eye on it, make sure it stays alive. And then in the springtime, I will put it into a training pot and let it grow for a couple of years in a training pot, let it get bigger. And I might do some research into planting this one in the ground. I know that it can stay outside. These will grow in really colder climates. When I was in Colorado, I had it grow outside, and it survived the winter. Snow piled on top of it and everything. So I know this will survive outside here in Florida. So I might just put it in the ground for a couple of years and see if it'll get bigger. And I just have to make sure that the weeds don't grow up around it and snuff it out, because weeds grow really fast here. Anyway, no, I'm just rambling. So we'll see what happens with this next year. This is going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Leave a comment. I like reading the comments. I like answering people's questions. And if you have some answers for me that, stuff that I didn't realize or said wrong or whatever, just let me know, because I like learning. So I'll see you on the next one.